Okay, it's official. You've been called out. Now what? Hey, ScouterStan here. It's official. You've been called out and you are now been asked to go away from the campfire and go with a bunch of others that have been called out quietly. As you go off, the OA has called you out. Now, in some places this is different, and a lot of people don't know these differences. So let me clarify some of it. First of all, a call out can be done usually at a district or a camporee. Okay, can also be done at council camporees. That being said, it is a solemn place where people are at a campfire. Usually at the end, near the end of a campfire, they will start calling out names. People in regalia will come out and gather the scouts and scouters that have been elected to go through their ordeal in the membership process of becoming an OA member. So what's going to happen is that once they're taken away from the fire, they're given a small piece of paper, it's a little packet. This little thing is called SOA, which stands for the Spirit of the Arrow. And the Spirit of the Arrow, it'll give them more information about that process so that they're not totally confused. Hang on to that little booklet. You'll be getting more later on during the ordeal, okay? And even during your brotherhood, which is the final part of becoming a full-blown member, a brotherhood member of the order. Where you're going is you're usually going off like a Cracker Barrel. You're going to, the local group that was there to receive you has given you this thing to read, and they give you the information to start off with. Now, I mentioned earlier it's different in different places. A call out that's done here in the South is usually done in the winter. If you go back, check the little link. If you go back to the winter episode, it's like summer here. Okay, so for the rest of the North, it's nice. You can camp out and not freeze, that kind of thing. The thing is they call it a call out, and it's a calling out of the names of the people who have been elected, and that's what the call out is. Up north, in some councils and districts, they do it differently. They do it at summer camp. Now, the neat thing about that, it's not called a call out, it's called a tap out, okay? And a tap out is more of a ceremony where the youth is taken before the chief, the symbolic chief, and they tap on his shoulders, okay? You've seen it at summer camps. I went through a tap out. I went through my ordeal up north. Like I said in another episode, check it out up there. In that episode, I talked about my life in scouting. I was up north. I was in Wisconsin, okay, and we did a tap out, and it was done during the summer. I couldn't make it to that summer camp. I was actually committed to a different camp at the time. So when I got back home, they had a supplemental tap out. Okay, that's what I went through. And if you do that at the summer camp, the ordeal starts the next day. That night, they don't go back to camp. Okay, they actually start off on the ordeal. They do it at summer camp. So that being the case, it's a super honor, really, to go through the ordeal that way. Ordeal in warmer climates, whether it be Texas, all the way across the southern states, we typically do a call out. And later, at another camp out, a specific ordeal, they'll do it then. It's the same ordeal, whether you do it right away through a tap out up north, or if you do a call out in the south. So depending on where you are, will depend on what type you're going to go through. I believe that they're going to call outs nationwide. So that might be the system that they're going to, but we'll see. Okay, but it varies from area to area. One of the neat things about it is that this is the beginning of your ordeal. It's the beginning of your membership process into the order, the brotherhood. And on that subject, regardless of gender, everybody in the order is referred to as a brother. Okay, it's a brotherhood. Okay, so brothers, regardless of gender, it is a brotherhood, and it's wonderful. It's going to be a great thing. Once you go through your ordeal and you go through all that, and there's a nice ceremony and stuff. I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, one of the things is we got to preserve those things so that it's special. Okay, just because we don't really talk about it a whole lot, that makes it even more special. Makes you curious, doesn't it? And Scoutmasters, you're going to have quite the experience and really enjoy your ordeal. You're going to remember it for a long time and remember your group that you were in and all that stuff. So that being the case, this is just the beginning. Don't worry. Don't be concerned. It's okay if you can't make your chapter or your lodge's ordeal. You need to get it done within a year's time of call out or tap out. You need to get it done. Otherwise, you got to go through the election again. So go ahead and get it done when you can. So if you have commitments, I know adult leaders have this come up all the time. You can do your ordeal with another lodge. You could do it with another chapter. Okay, so they have different schedules and stuff like that. So look into it. If your schedule is interrupting the time that you should go to it, you have to do something else. Totally fine. It is optional. Because you got called out, because you were elected, doesn't mean you have to go in. There are lots of people who do not get called out, who do not get elected. So it's an honor. Okay, this is an honor society, but it's optional. Okay. That's one of the things. It is optional. So keep that all in mind. Remember to hang on to the little brochure things. These things that they give you. These things are wonderful. They will definitely put you in the right mood for the whole process. One of the big things with call out is that is the beginning of your membership. Sadly, many people who go through the ordeal, we don't see them again. But yet, they wear the flap, they wear the sash, they do all the stuff that you see out there. But we don't see them again. One of the big reasons I feel is communications. Communication. We don't tell them that the OA is not just ordeal after ordeal after ordeal. Once you go through ordeal, that's once. That's your ordeal. That's it. You never go through it again. That's the wonderful thing about it. You get to go through all the different events that the OA has. Did you know that they have a thing that's almost like it is as big as a jamboree, but it's called NOAC? It's the conference that they have every 2 or 3, I think it's every 4 years now. But that's available to OA members. So this is huge, okay? This is a big deal. So you want to continue your membership. Once you've gone through ordeal, you never have to do it again. And then you go through your brotherhood training, and that finishes your membership. After that, you get a brand new sash. It's got the little bars on it. It's super cool, okay? So don't disappear. We often call those the flappers, okay? They have a flap. We haven't seen them in anything, but they have an OA flap. That's okay. I mean, granted, they might have an issue. Okay, they might have aged out. They may be going off to college. They may have other reasons, but sadly, a lot of them don't have a reason not to come back. So we call them flappers. We also call them Sash-n-Dash. But you don't have to do that. There was a big gap between my ordeal and my brotherhood. A huge gap. There was 10 years of flying all over the country and all over the world. So it was a career going on. So there's a big gap. But I still did it. And I went through brotherhood and finished my membership. So that might be your situation. It does happen, but definitely finish your membership and in the brotherhood. So, but that being the case, I am so glad that you're here. Leave me comments below, and if you have any questions that I can answer, I certainly will. So until next time, I'll see you on the trail.